You a little bit more about how you can create better customer retention for your course, membership, group coaching program, or cohort using a customer success plan. My name is Melody, and I'm the founder of The Course Consultant. I help course creators and program founders create better learning experiences for their customers to build more brand loyalty so you can get repeat business. And so today, I actually want to walk through the 3-step plan that I use with my one-on-one clients and my students to improve customer feedback and bring in more testimonials. So I'm going to start first by showing you exactly what I do when I work with my clients. So let's hop over to my screen share. So here you can actually see an example of when I work with coaches who have group programs. I actually conduct a learning analysis. I'm going to go through this really briefly, but essentially what ends up happening is when you first launch your program, you might be using certain software and it may be time to revisit what's currently working for you. That might look like analyzing the automatic enrollment process. That might look at how you're onboarding your customers with email marketing platform, and you might find that it's time to revisit that software. You might also want to take a look at anything that you have on the back end to see if it's time to change. So the first thing that we need to do is to evaluate the existing curriculum, and that's the beauty of creating a learning needs analysis. This is where I dive deep into the curriculum to see what kind of curriculum they get to access within the first 30 days. The next thing that I review is to analyze what is the outcome or the milestone in which they will actually participate in. For example, in a self-paced curriculum, this will look very different. In a virtual group coaching program, this will look very different as well. There might be a milestone, there might be an onboarding form to fill out. There's so many things that you want to think about when the student and or client goes through the first 30 days. Let's take a look at the customer success plan. So after that learning analysis is done, what we need to do is come up with this plan. And I'm going to show you what that looks like right here. So in the customer success plan, this is just an example. When I work with my clients one-on-one, we review the key customer success canvas. Again, this is where we look at all of the data from both the learning analysis and we come up with a plan to implement to improve customer retention, build out better testimonials, and also help to allow the student to self-service so they're not asking the same repeat questions. We then take a look at how to review the key goals, timelines, and deliverables. This might look like for you creating a syllabus. It could be creating a better, more evergreen program onboarding process. Maybe it's time to take a look at what needs to be updated in that curriculum for the next cohort. So let's take a look at the customer success canvas. And again, this is just an example of one template for the customer success. I take a look at the company highlights. Let's take a look at this example. Pretend that this is for a certification program. So maybe this is for an ed tech platform. Maybe you have a group cohort. Maybe there is grant funding that's available for your program. So the key things that we need to take a look at is what's the highlights of what has been working. What are the objectives that your customers will need in order to succeed? And then let's take a look at the challenges and the benefits of what that would look like for the customer. In your business, this might look like analyzing the attorney review process. It could be considering accreditation, building out more team members, hiring more support staff. This could also look like looking at the benefits, right? So what's the end goal of what your big goals are for the annual year? And that might be building out more retention plans, creating and improving your affiliate program or your referral team. And this might look like updating and creating better team processes. So reviewing your standard operating procedures and ensuring that there's enough support in your programs that will actually help to achieve your customers' goals. So I'm going to go ahead and real briefly talk a little bit more about the learning process. Now, this is a really brief overview of my framework: analyze, define, refine, develop, test, launch. This is a little bit different in the instructional design space. If you're familiar with instructional design, which is the theory of how adults learn, my master's degree is in that process. And essentially, what we do is you analyze all the content that's there, the curriculum, the program onboarding, data, surveys, any data that you have on the customer. We then pull in all this information, we synthesize it into a analysis, then create a customer success canvas, which is kind of what we were looking at now. Creating this canvas will help to further create clarity on where the student will be going, where they have been in the past, and how you can create a success path for your students to achieve the end goal. This will bring clarity to your marketing message and help to build out understanding what a successful student looks like. Let's take a look at the next thing, and that is your key milestones. Your key milestones might be anything from onboarding, it could be usage or engagement. Again, this is for SaaS companies out there who want to improve the actual engagement of their product to adoption of the product, which is so meaningful when you have an ed tech platform or a SaaS company. And we want to be able to get people to these last stages, right? The loyalty, the repeat customers, and we want to build out brand advocates for what we're doing in our business. And so what the goal here is to identify the key milestones at each stage. For a group program, this might look like allowing people to identify where should they be at 3 months, where should they be at 6 months, where should they be at a year. When you look at a university's curriculum, you'll find that there's curriculum over 4 years. So just imagine if you had to condense that all 4-year curriculum into a 12-month time period. Now, we'd want to then clearly outline what's happening the first quarter, what's happening the second quarter, what's happening 6 to 12 months from then. Again, this is so important when we're looking at building out retention plans long term and creating clear success paths for our students so that they achieve the goals that we've marketed. Now, not every single business is going to have the same onboarding and retention plan. This is where it's going to be up to you and myself, if you decide to work with me, to identify where your students and or clients are at. This is going to look differently. For example, this might look like identifying your power users. For this might look like who's actually doing really great. This is the A+ student that you love working with. They are just going through all the lessons, they're going through the curriculum, and they're seeing results. They're eager, they're enthusiastic, they're your favorite A+ rock star students. Now, you might see and take a look at some of your other users. These are your engaged users who maybe they complete the onboarding, they attempt it, they're attending most of the program meetings, they're trying to align their goals with the curriculum that's inside of the program, but they sometimes will need some reminders and resources to implement. We want to bring these engaged users, if it's a good fit, to move them to actually become brand advocates. So we want to push those engaged users even farther. The next thing we want to identify is slipping users. What happens when your customers will actually slip? So in a SaaS business, that means that they're probably not active anymore. Maybe they haven't accessed your product in a while. For a group program, this might look like they're no longer attending the group calls. Maybe they haven't filled out a form in a while. They're struggling to see how the product or the program is going to help them achieve their goals. Maybe they're suffering through a personal challenge or dilemma. And again, this is where it's very important to have a customer success manager on your team or to have a team member available to support what's happening with this slipping user, because what if we do forget to reach out and support them, that slipping user can actually become a lost user. So that means lost revenue on the table. They're no longer paying towards the subscription or the program, and inevitably that means you need to go find to either replace that customer or you need to recover that user by finding ways to re-engage with them. So self-services, and maybe they have begun the cancellation process. Maybe they're non-responsive and cancel on their own. They don't renew at the end of the plan or period. Now, there's a big difference between natural churn, where it's very natural for this customer to cancel out on you, This might be that for whatever reason they experienced a hardship or there was some sort of personal problem they had to deal with, and at the end they decided to just cancel. That's very different from someone who is very frustrated. A lost user who is frustrated, who just actually shares that they're not happy with their service or their product. That's very different. So we want to identify, why did customers remove themselves from the program, and what could we have done differently? This might mean they were not a good fit. It could mean that they actually struggled with one part of the product features, or they weren't aware how to adopt it into their business. So we want to take a look at how we can take these lost users and use that data to inform our product or program roadmap. So every product or program roadmap is going to be different. This might look like creating a plan for updating your orientation video, creating a new demo process, automating a demo process, or hiring a new team member to help with onboarding your customers. This might look like creating segments of your learners in the program and identifying who your power users are, how you can create better engagement with your students and customers through your existing calls. There's so much that we could do in this roadmap, so I'm not going to give you a comprehensive list. And you may want to maybe look at some softwares. Maybe it's to create a help ticket system. Maybe it's to create a automated chat bot, or maybe it's to create better processes in which you can offboard some different students if they decide not to continue, and to use data based off of surveys that you use. So here again is an example of what the measurements of success are. So identifying where this expansion revenue might come from, identifying how we can increase renewal rates. These are just measurements. And so we want to be really specific. And again, this can be done initially when the customer success plan is created. We might want to increase it by a specific percentage, and we'll want to have benchmarks along the way during the year, so that every single quarter we review these to see how they're going to be working. The success criteria again can be used in the SMART framework. We can create some key milestones and dates based off of what is going to work. Now, all of this I want to just share with you is going to look differently for you and your business. But when you decide on creating that next steps, this is where it becomes time to take a look at where you want to be in 1 year and how you want to get there. So better client and customer retention means that you no longer have to market to new leads constantly, and that being the only revenue source for your business. Instead, you're focused on client support, you're focused on client delivery, and you're creating processes and success metrics to benchmark yourself every single quarter or every year. That being said, customer success will look differently for yourself if you're a product-based business or your service-based business, such as providing group consulting, cohorts, or memberships. And so retention is very important. And when you're thinking about it, it does take some time to understand your program. So if you are looking to create a better retention, increase your customer support without increase your work hours, then I would love for you to join me inside of my customer success roadmap. Inside the customer success roadmap, this is a completely free roadmap that allows you to identify how to track some of the key milestones in your program, as well as find ways to support your customers' learning goals throughout the customer journey. Lastly, I want to let you know about free office hours. Every single week on Wednesdays from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I offer free office hours for membership owners, group program owners, and people that have a product-based business that have a subscription-based model. And so if you have questions about how to create better learning experiences, you need questions that are specific to your specific business, I would love for you to join me. It's free. Every single week I offer it inside of my free Facebook group. So make sure that you grab that link, join inside of the call. I would absolutely love for you to see what it looks like for you to have that retention plan fully built out so you can build a business of repeat customers. That's it for today's training. Thanks so much for watching. If you gained any new knowledge from this video, make sure that you like and subscribe. If you're here on YouTube or if you're here inside of Facebook, comment below. I would love to know what you got from this video. That's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.